You ready for some heads to explode? I have the man who is top of class in political commentary, Bill Maher. How is the old school liberal who says the Democratic Party left him in its woke ways more relevant than ever? And is it true? Is he about to meet the man he criticizes most of all? Bill Maher headed for the White House? For reals?
Maher. And trust me when I tell that they don't hold back in a political environment where echo chambers are prevalent. Cancel culture and partisan nonsense are doing what most people in authority want by confronting the opposition and bringing hard realities to light. Bill Maher reveals the hypocrisy on the left and right, while Gavin Newsom angered the party by daring to engage with individuals like Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. Both of them are aware that the Democratic brand is already under danger, and that pretending to be united won't make it better. This study looks at some of their most bold viewpoints, including the woke train to crazy town, California's overregulation, and the real risk of plastic poisoning our bodies while policymakers argue. If you're tired with political theater and want to know what's really going on behind the scenes, this is the place to go. Let's get to the actual conversation now.
Chairman was in the news today. He said, talking about the Democratic Party, he said, if we don't get our shit together, we're going to be a permanent minority. Doing something about it. I applaud it. I think it's great. You've got this podcast. You're talking to people. You know, it's amazing to me that even that is controversial to some people. They call it platforming. If you talk to someone you don't agree with. Yeah. I feel like this country is divided into owners and healers. People who can own the other side. Gavin Newsom owned DeSantis. DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom. More people who want to talk and heal. And I feel like the next president is going to be, at least if it comes from this party, the Democratic Party, someone who wants to talk and heal. And I feel like we're doing it.
It's been interesting, the reaction to the podcast. I mean, we had some controversial figures on, I'll acknowledge that, Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and some others. But you're right. I mean, this idea that we can't even have a conversation with the other side.
You have to. They won.
Thank you. Right. And by the way, I want to know so we just have to continue to talk to ourselves or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high watermark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. Dropped NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense. And I think with this podcast and having the opportunity to dialogue with people I disagree with, it's an opportunity to try to find common ground and not take cheap shots. I'm not looking to put a spoke in the wheel of their, or at least a crow in the spokes of their wheel, to your point. And I think it's important. Democrats tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. Democrats need to own up to that. You've got to mature.
The Democratic Party is in decline, not because of what the Republicans are doing, but rather because of what the Democrats refuse to do. Maher and Gavin Newsom are among the few conservative voices who have the courage to admit that the House is on fire and that the leadership is still squabbling over who should be in control while public trust declines and favorability numbers drop into the 20s. The truth about it is revealed by Maher. The brand is wrongly criticized, misinterpreted, and poisoned. By speaking up, Newsom is likewise defying expectations. She does this without resorting to party loyalty or progressive platitudes. The far left would sooner cancel than deal with individuals such as Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. This discussion is taking place outside of the progressive bubble as well.
Do you think that they should be obsessed with how to do things differently? And you don't even hear them talking about it.
Well, you certainly hear Newsom talking about it. He said, he's just started this podcast. I'm sure you heard that. He said he was modeling it on what I do on Real Time. He said, I want to talk to other people. His first guest was Charlie Kirk, who could be not more be on the other side. I like this. I like the new Newsom. I've been asking for this Newsom for a long time. So I think he's a great candidate if he was more of a centrist Democrat. He seems like he wants to be. So I think it's great, and I can't wait till Friday and talk to him. And I can't wait to see what he says about what
he's got working to make that not happen again when the fires come?
Well, the whole thing is about this state is just so fucked with over taxes and over regulation. I mean, I last time he was on, I was, kidding him about the fact that I took 3 years to get my solar power turned on. Now I just had my roof redone because of the fires. Because now I want a fireproof roof. 2 inspections, and you have to pay for those inspections, They're not free. And I asked this in the show last week. I see it got picked up by a lot of people. Why do I have to have inspectors looking at my roof? It's my roof. It falls on my head. That's my problem. I don't need the government looking over my shoulder here. And this is why we can't get anything done in this state. The government is just too in our fucking business. And he was on last January, and I asked him about this and the red tape, and he had a big answer about, well, I'm going to find out what the exact was, and see now that it's a year and 3 months later, what's been done. Because if it's nothing, that's not good enough.
It's hard for people in power not use them.
Bill is not attempting to conceal the California problem. He points out the kind of red tape that causes even basic tasks like installing solar panels or a fireproof roof to take years to do. And he attacks the state's excessive bureaucracy and high taxes. This is in a state that prides itself on leading the charge in the battle against climate change. Ma makes the simple argument that, in spite of California's ongoing wildfires, the state's leadership is unable to engage in the uncomfortable conversations about, say, why rehabilitation is taking so long or why the burn areas are so dangerous. Instead of taking action, we are exposed to more expensive laws and inspections because the government is more interested in maintaining rooftops than in picking up trash. It's also more than just letting off steam. He is exposing a serious leadership collapse in a state that says a lot, but accomplishes nothing. We should all be concerned if California is to set an example for the rest of the country.
Yes, last question. You're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
A dare.
not a dare. No, just like, maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if 2 guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that, and I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give you a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House. Yes, it is. And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburbs, was invited for a private dinner at the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed the fuck out of it. I get to go to the White House, and yes, that is the structure of this dinner. It's just, let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles.
You're correct. Bill Maher is eating supper at the White House. He's also not selling out. He's not suddenly turning into a Trump nut or donning an MGA hat. This is a principal issue rather than a support issue. Mao has been one of Trump's most vocal and unwavering detractors for years. He has warned that a favorable defeat for Trump is not possible. However, he is aware that yelling into thin air on social media isn't helping to heal the divisions in our nation. The invitation, which supposedly came from Kid Rock of all people, was accepted by Maher. Why? Because it is more important to sit down and have a genuine, in-person conversation than to shout from the sidelines. In actuality, it is symbolic. It's a fight, though. What does it indicate for everyone else if someone like Ma, who has been open about Trump's shortcomings, can still act and speak like an adult? I appreciate your patience. You are the MVP, really. If you've gotten this far and are sick of the clamor and want to see more candid, uncensored comments like this one, please click the subscribe button. Kindly use the like button, leave a remark, and let's have a kind and straightforward discussion. We call it out wherever it originates. We'll meet up at the upcoming